Hello there.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of our brand new channel, which is Unmuted. It's our goal to give all of you cineasts out there an educated insight into an often overlooked part of movie making, and that is sound design. If you're interested in this topic and like to be updated every time a new video hits the web, please make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Now, without further ado, let's get right into our today's topic.
Your move.
What is film sound design? Generally speaking, sound design is everything you get to hear in a movie. Although, strictly speaking, since our topic is film sound design, we'd usually add to that everything you get to hear in a movie except for the music. Which, of course, in the majority of cases comes from professional composers. So for the purpose of this channel, we'll deal with all the non-musical sounds of a movie soundtrack. And just so you know, that's a lot of sounds. And let me assure you, not a single one of them fell into place simply by accident. What seems paradoxical, though, is the fact that very often sound design is considered to be especially good when the audience doesn't realize it's even there, which can be attributed to the elusive and shadowy nature of film sound, as the famous Walter Möller once said, meaning that the sound of a movie, quite unlike its image, is usually perceived unconsciously by the audience. Let's now travel back in time and take a look at the silent movie classics of the early 20th century. Due to the technical limitations of those days, it just wasn't possible to record and play back sound in sync with the picture. But still, silent movies were never really silent. The desired music, or sometimes even very basic sound effects, were performed by live musicians and sometimes even full-fledged orchestras. At times even using specially designed cinema organs or sound-producing gadgets. But no dialogue whatsoever, let alone synchronous sounds. Now imagine modern movies would work the same way as they used to during that time. This is where sound design kicks in and transforms this example into the scene we all know and love. So let's keep in mind that sound design is everything we get to hear in a movie, you remember, except for the music. But what does that mean in detail? What elements is sound design actually comprised of? The first things that might spring to mind might be sounds like gunshots, explosions, car engines, fist punches and the like. All of those are pretty loud sounds. Stereotypes that sound designers use in usually exaggerated ways to elevate impact and drama. Because of this exaggeration, it only makes sense for these sound elements to come to our minds first when we think about sound design. And eventually they will probably also be the most prominent sounds in the movie. But another very important part of sound design hides right there in the name: design. Existing real-world sounds can be augmented, manipulated, layered with other sounds to create the impression of something new. They can be put into totally new contexts to create sounds for actually non-existent elements in the movie. You can think of it as the work of a chef. He or she will use certain ingredients to create new, innovative recipes for dishes that haven't existed before. So by means of selecting certain ingredients over others, chopping, cooking, steaming, recombining, seasoning, and so on, those ingredients turn into a new creation of their own. Something that is truly more than just the sum of its parts, springing from the imaginative mind of the chef. Okay, so back to sound. Some of you might have come across the term foley or foley artist. The job of foley artist is to sonically reproduce the movements of the characters in the film. Basically, every time a character moves, they will produce some sort of sound. That will depend, of course, on how exactly they are moving and maybe what objects they are moving around or otherwise interacting with. The goal in Foley is to not only put some sound to what's happening on screen, simply because it might feel awkward if there was no sound at all, but rather to give a voice to a character's movements that mirrors their intention, attitude, or emotion in that moment of the film. So now we briefly touched on Foley and those prominent sound effects that come to mind first. Of course, there are far more sounds than just Foley and prominent stuff like gunshots, explosions, and lightsabers. Usually, there's quite an amazing multitude of all kinds of sound effects playing at any given moment, but let's save that for future episodes. And there's yet another aspect of film sound design besides sound effects, and that's dialogue.
Oh, I'm sorry, did I break your concentration?
Dialogue has been a key element of movies for more than 90 years now. Dialogue, or speech, plays such an important role in our everyday lives that it goes unnoticed for the most part. Dialogue is the key to auditory communication and gives filmmakers and actors the opportunity to give more depth to their characters. A few examples.
Spaß beiseite, was tun Sie in Frankreich?
Ich begleite die Dame zu Minister Goebbels Filmpremiere.
Ach, Sie sind der Begleiter von Fräulein von Hammersmark.
Hello?
Hello, Neo. Do you know who this is?
Morpheus.
Yes. I've been looking for you, Neo. I don't know if you're ready to see what I want to show you, but unfortunately you and I have run out of time.
And what is this?
It's a fully primed neutron bomb with a blast radius of 6 miles.
And who is capable of disarming such a device?
Only me.
As you can see, or better hear, there are a lot of ways that dialogue can sound in a movie. And as with all other sounds, you can be pretty sure that a particular sound effect or a piece of dialogue, in this case, sounding just the way it does, is never unintended. But since I'm trying to keep things short here, we will have to talk about that in another video as well.
English, motherfucker! Do you speak it? Yes!
Time to draw a conclusion. Film sound design is far more present than most people realize, and there is much more work put into it than you probably think. It's about shaping and designing the soundtrack of a movie. It comprises a lot of different aspects like dialogue editing, Foley, the creation of fancy sounds for objects or creatures never heard before, but also many other departments that we'll certainly talk about in future episodes. So, what is film sound design?
It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
It's the creation of the sonic world of a movie. It's making every single sound matter with respect to the narrative of the film. It's auditory storytelling. If you want to come with us on this quest to explore the wide and diverse world of sound design and want to learn more about this fascinating part of movie making, please subscribe to our channel and make sure you never miss an episode. Also, give us a thumbs up and share this episode. That was Unmuted.